Although the specific disease, or more accurately range of diseases that we collectively call cancer, is relatively recent in human history, there is evidence that illnesses with symptoms like cancer existed in the ancient world. Yet, the complex biology of cancer is still being unraveled by scientists today. An estimated 2 of every 5 Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetimes. Canada has an aging population, and the risks of cancer increase with age, but cancer affects people of all ages, and it remains the most common disease-related cause of death among children. Through ongoing research, we have gained increased knowledge about the mechanisms and drivers of cancer and how we can prevent, diagnose, and treat it. For example, research that confirmed the link between tobacco and lung cancer so many years ago has spurred all kinds of research to mitigate the burden of lung cancer. The Canadian Cancer Research Alliance, or CCRA for short, is an alliance of most of the major funders of cancer research in Canada. The many members of the alliance partner on various research funding initiatives and platforms and strive to maximize the impact of their collective investments. The CCRA is guided by Canada's aspirational long-term vision for cancer research, which has 3 broad commitments. We need activated populations, we need intrepid science, and we need living innovation. Reporting on Canada's investment in cancer research has been a pillar of the CCRA's work since its earliest days. It shows how the research investment is distributed in terms of funding support, funder organizations, cancer sites, and areas of science. This helps to identify where further research investments are needed. The CCRA also reports on topics of special interest to advocacy groups, patient partners, and its members. This includes the role of targeted funding to address important research priorities and to build researcher capacity in areas where more expertise is needed. The CCRA's latest publication looks at the 15-year period 2005 to 19. This historical examination helps us to track where the dollars have flowed, how the investment has changed, and will be invaluable in understanding the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on cancer research funding going forward. Cancer research is conducted in all provinces of the country. The provinces with the largest populations have more resources and researchers, but as research and innovation are recognized as important to the health and economic well-being of all Canadians, there is more being invested outside of major centres. Cancer research investments are made by organizations and agencies of the federal government, provincial governments, and charities and non-governmental organizations that have either a national or provincial remit, and which may have a cancer-specific focus. In addition, there are other groups that partner on these research projects. Ten organizations represented 3/4 of the 2019 investment. These organizations were from the federal, provincial, and charitable sectors. But when we slice the data in different ways, it reveals that all funders, regardless of sector, played an important role in Canada's cancer research funding ecosystem. Research is funded through various types of supporter mechanisms. There is direct support, also known as operating grants, support for equipment, labs, and other research infrastructure, support for clinicians and academics so they have protected time to conduct research, called career awards, and awards for trainees, our next generation of scientists. While the number of new cases went up from 2005 to 2019, the orange dotted line on the graph, the research investment trend was not a constant upward trajectory. The large increase from 2008 to 2012 was due to investment in major infrastructure, as well as a ramp-up of organizations supporting research and platforms. When we compare Canada's cancer research investment to that of the United States and the United Kingdom, and note that the data in this graph is normalized, we can see that Canada's cancer research investment has been falling since its peak in 2009 and increasingly lagging since 2014. Cancer research spans a broad range of areas. Research projects are coded to the Common Scientific Outline, an international classification which groups projects into 6 major buckets. Coding research projects to this system helps us track research investments in a consistent way over time and across jurisdictions. Over the 15 years, there were significant changes. The fundamental research to uncover the complex biology of cancer, the dark blue line, was on a downward trend, concerning because basic research fuels research further down the line. There were notable increased investments in treatment research, the purple line, and research on detecting and diagnosing cancer, the gold line. This bar graph shows in greater detail where these latter investments in direct support were made and how the investments changed over the 3 5-year periods covered in the report. Investments in these areas of research are expected to continue to grow, although an impact from the pandemic is anticipated. Operating grants that started in 2019 were also mapped to the priorities of Canada's latest 10-year strategy for cancer control. Research projects corresponded to each of the priority areas of the strategy. It is important to recognize that there have been new investments and innovative programs initiated in 2020 and beyond, not yet captured in this analysis. These will affect trends going forward, as well as the distribution of the investment by research areas. Advancing equity in cancer research is a major focus for CCRA members. This means truly engaging patients as research partners, embedding inclusivity across the research system, and ensuring that the next generation of cancer researchers reflects the diversity of our population.